Hey guys, Spence here, and today we're gonna bust some perps who may or may not be kawaii. It's a way forward game, deal with it. The game is simple. You play as Patricia Wagon, a police officer who is too cute to take seriously, and throughout all the stages you're trying to apprehend these criminal girls who, not that kind. Jeez. And once again, that's pretty much it plot-wise. I swear, I'm gonna get an RPG and make this better, guys. But other than that, if Patricia isn't a crooked cop, then she's the worst one I've seen next to Officer Wiggle. I mean, in the intro cutscene, she watches them escape! And I guess it must have happened for all the other levels since you're capturing the same girls each time. The game is a side-scrolling puzzle platformer. Outside of moving left and right, you can also jump, shoot, and switch. You see, in the levels, there'll be blocks, and they'll either be tangible or not tangible. And by hitting the switch button, you'll swatch the tangibility of these blocks. As you imagine, this is the crutch of most of the puzzles, and it's the most important skill to master. But the first thing you probably learn, how to not kill yourself with it. There are 3 block types in general, and there are enemies that seem to serve one of 2 purposes. Either to be nuisances, or are puzzle integral. As I said before, you have to find the 5 criminals in each level, so basically it's a scavenger hunt. After the first few levels, it stops being a move right-a-thon, and he starts introducing other types of levels that are more vertical, and some that are just flat-out expansive. Because of this, the puzzles tend to be more of set pieces having their own little area. Some levels you can tackle the puzzles in whatever order you wish, others will have you doing them in a very particular order, more likely than not due to the fact there's only one path. The puzzles themselves are okay for the most part. Sometimes criminals are just out in the open and you have to use basic platforming to get to them, but after a while it starts to go through the motions, at least in the beginning levels. Later levels are better about this, but the issue I have with them is that, well, one, a lot of the puzzles start to become less thought-intensive and more reflex-based. Not requiring much thought to actually figure them out, but requiring you a while to actually get the timing down for the button presses. My second issue is, I find levels can be too expansive sometimes. Yes, it does free up the design for a bit more elaborate puzzles, but at the same time you spend just as much time mapping the level as you do find yourself traversing it. And this really becomes an issue when you have a puzzle that you can't really outthink, but you have to out-reflex, but you can't, and you find yourself going back and forth a lot. Now those complaints pop up every now and again throughout the different levels, but if you want an example where they all show up, look at level 15. My last issue with the gameplay is that there's only 16 levels. Well, there are 5 extra ones, but even with those, you'll only be running about a few hours of gameplay time, unless you have a particular trouble with some of the puzzles, or happen to like speedrunning, which the game seems to be aiming towards. Presentation-wise, it works. Having the characters hand-drawn and animated is a very good way to make your game stand out, but the levels themselves look incredibly samey. Now, while the sound effects are nothing special, the soundtrack is done by Jake Kaufman, giving us a nice techno upbeat soundtrack that I would recommend giving a listen if you're into that sort of thing. Would I recommend this game? If you like puzzle platformers, and even then, I find the game to be really average. For some reason it didn't resonate with me, and I know a lot of people like it, but I think this is just exclusive to me. The puzzles for the most part are relatively easy to figure out, and I didn't really appreciate the puzzles that required a high level of reflexes. Then the game can be beaten within a few hours, so your longevity of it depends on how much you actually like this sort of thing. For $8.99, it's an okay price, though I do feel there are better games in this genre. Short version, an average game in my opinion, and if you like puzzle platformers, it's worth a look I guess, but if not, you'll probably find the game very like me.